So evolutionary enlightenment embraces the being dimension of reality. Being is God, God is being, God is unborn, uncreated, eternal. He experiences the peace that passes all understanding. And we say God is also the evolutionary impulse, the creative impulse, that brought the universe into being. Take the creative impulse, God as the evolutionary impulse feels like ecstatic urgency. It feels like yay, 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 yay. Do what you're saying. It feels exactly like the recognition of the experience of infinite potential. All things are possible. When you feel all things are possible, with both feet on the gas, no hesitation. That's what the evolutionary impulse feels like. So God feels like that as the evolutionary impulse. It's not peaceful. It's exciting and thrilling. Always awake to the infinite potential that shows what could be. Traditional enlightenment will focus on what is. And evolutionary enlightenment will focus on what could be. So because the state of consciousness, of being consciousness, of bliss consciousness that passes all understanding is inherently ideal in and of itself, isn't it? The peace that passes all understanding is always unbearable because it's too much, it's too deep, it's too infinite, it's too profound, it's too overwhelming. The evolutionary impulse is the excitement about the inherent possibility of manifest existence. Because there's an infinite potential in manifest existence, infinite creative potential. You, at your best moments, and me in my best moments, are capable of infinite potential. What does infinite potential feel like? Too much. It's too much. It's unbearably positive. When God created the universe, it was a big yes, right? Life is a big yes. What's the yes without any ifs, ands, buts, or maybes? Liberation, right? Well, I agree that destruction is part of the process, inevitably. But I think destructive impulses, should be avoided. But of course, this creation and destruction is part of the totality of reality. But we in ourselves, personally, need to resist the temptation to identify with the power to destroy. Because we all have the power to destroy. And there's a dangerous lust involved with the power to destroy. That's what I'm saying we must avoid at all costs. Because it gives the ego pleasure to have the power to destroy. That's what I mean. We need to renounce that temptation. We want to try and always be constructive, if we can. Terrible truths are built into the system, right? So it's the same way, like in yoga, they talk about tamas, rajas, and sattva. We want to go for the sattvic possibility always. We don't need to allow ourselves to be manipulated by lower impulses. That's all I mean. Lower impulses or higher impulses. There's a difference between good and evil, no? So either we make distinctions or we don't, though, right? So as long as we make distinctions, we want to make better choices. We make choices every day. Some have very little value and some have great value. And the choices we make that have the greatest value determine our destiny. So freedom is not just letting destiny happen by just lying down in the middle of the street and just saying, come what may. It's by getting up and walking in the right direction, making choices, no? So the problem with non-duality is the way you've been speaking about it, it points to a meaningless form of nihilism. And there's truth in what you're saying, but to me it's a dark truth. So the liberated life is learning how to make the highest distinctions for the highest reasons. Ones that will have an inherently evolutionary, spiritually empowering effect on this crazy, chaotic world in the midst of this fucking Kali Yuga. What's happening in America is going to cause a lot of suffering to a lot of people. And the most suffering is going to be to the poorest and the most impoverished among us in a way for reasons that are just not fair. It's a form of injustice. It's unbearable if anybody's got an open heart. It's just terrible. But I agree with you, evil is part of the picture of the totality of reality. You're totally right. Don't you think, is there any greater purpose to human life than to have the world be a slightly better place because you were actually here for a while? Can anything be better than that? But wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if we could say that the world is improved because Joel was here for a while? Isn't that beautiful, Ben? What a beautiful legacy you're going to have. It is dangerous. But it means that each step I take in the direction I'm going in is important because it's going to involve everyone else, inevitably sooner or later. It means that you're important. It means you're inherently important, because you made the right choices for the right reasons at the right time, and the world benefited from it. I can't think of anything a higher calling for all of us. It's not easy, because then we have to care. And caring, the more we care, the more we're going to suffer. Right? In the way that I think about it, the position of freedom and non-judgment that you were pointing out when we were talking, you can assume that position when you're meditating. You're letting go of the mind, letting go of concepts of right, wrong, good, bad, true, and false, and transcending all cognition, all preferences. Right? And then you're letting everything be as it is. But when you open your eyes and you get up from your meditation seat, the problem is you have to have a relationship with your body, your mind, the world, and choices you're going to make. There's no way around it. There's no way to escape the obligation of choices and the moral and ethical and philosophical context for making choices. So when you're meditating and you're being absolutely still and assuming no relationship to the mind, you don't have to make any choices. Everything is one and one is everything. There's no higher or lower. There's no here or there. There's no true or false. Letting go of all judgments and all opinions. But the minute you open your eyes and you get up and you engage in a relationship with your body, your mind, your personality, the world, the whole universe, you have to take a position when you make choices. And that's my point. There's no way around it, no matter what you think. And the kind of choices that we make define what we believe, what we treasure, what we care about. The challenge for all of us is trust in the face of fear. When we feel the fear, we have to trust anyway. Right? Not always easy. My guru said, the difference between enlightenment and unenlightenment is doubt. It took me a long time to understand what he meant. So what does it mean to have no doubt about God? Does God exist? Does God exist no matter how you feel or what you think? There's no doubt? Then it's finished. But if you have, like you said, you have no doubt that God exists, right? So you're very lucky. Not everybody can say that. Powerful. If God exists absolutely, as primary and absolute, that means there's no without conditions. If you realize that God exists absolutely without conditions, then you get it.